It's time to become the champion of your world. Hi, this is Mike Lipkin. It's May 19 and I am in Toronto. Spring is turning into summer. The days are warming, the trees are blossoming. It is the season of growth and recreation. It's time to get out there and become the champion of your world. Here's what I know from all our research. Success is a direct function of champion self-perception that is continually reinforced by external results. Let me repeat that. Success is a direct function of champion self-perception that is continually reinforced by external results. That means we see ourselves as someone who is best in our class and someone who fights for others' well-being. On the one hand, we believe in our own capacity to win. On the other hand, we are committed to helping our community succeed. We take the actions that achieve extraordinary results. Now, sometimes we win and sometimes we do not, but we always interpret our outcome in a way that reinforces our champion self-perception. I know that if I am continually expanding my skills while I make others successful, every outcome is net positive. Sometimes my biggest losses can be my biggest gains. I am in control of my response to my circumstances. I am the champion of my world, so I am a world champion. It makes me feel good just to say it. I am a world champion. Now, I'm also engaging in 3-star practices that enable people to become world champions. 1, I set myself ambitious daily personal challenges that test and stretch me. Producing a world-class motivational video like this one is today's personal challenge for me. 2, I adapt to my changing circumstances by fully expressing my gifts in whatever way I can. In this video, I am literally adapting to the changing seasons while I inspire you to be a world champion. And then 3, I train to win. I exercise, diet, read, talk, listen, share, work, self-promote, think and play to be preeminent. I aspire to the kind of mastery that the great author James Missioner describes in this famous quote. The master in the art of living makes little distinction between his work and his play, his labor and his leisure, his mind and his body, his information and his recreation, his love and his religion. He hardly knows which is which. He simply pursues his vision of excellence at whatever he does, leaving others to decide whether he is working or playing, because to him he is always doing both. So you decide what I am doing here, working or playing. Both, man, and I'm loving it. Now, I have a specific role model in the art of playing and working. His name is Georges St. Pierre, or GSP as he is called. He is the current UFC champion. Can you see the similarities? Now, whether you follow mixed martial arts or not, I encourage you to read this masterpiece, The Way of the Fight. GSP is renowned for his sense of purpose, his dedication to his craft, and his love of people, including his opponents. Now, I have cherry-picked some of his game-changing insights on how to be a world champion. Think about how you can apply them to your life and then read the book. Here we go. The outcome of my next fight, says GSP, is not determined in the octagon. It is determined in the weeks and months before the fight when I'm getting ready for it. Fear, he says, is the genesis of most of the good things that have occurred in my life. Fear is the beginning of every success that I have lived. Then he says, some people learn to lose, others lose and learn. Fall down 7 times, stand up 8. And he says, the worst punches are the ones you don't see coming. How true is that? Then he says, I have never been the biggest guy in the ring, and I don't want to be either. My goal is to be the most efficient, quickest thinking fighter. I aim to be flexible, open-minded, and ready for any situation. How true is that? Then he says, once fear enters your life, whether it's been there for a second or a lifetime makes no difference. It will take you in one of two directions, empowerment or panic. Then he says, it's from doing that you get your confidence back, getting back in the ring and performing and doing well. Every time you fight, says George St. Pierre, your opponent doesn't look anything like the previous opponent. Then he offers a quote that I love. One of the lessons I learned in all those years of practicing karate is that progress only comes in small, incremental proportions. Nobody becomes great overnight. Nobody crams information if he wants to be able to use it over the longer term. And then he says, humility is the first rule of martial arts. Either you learn humility quickly or you leave because your ego cannot handle losing repeatedly. And then he quotes, before each one of my fights, I make a point of saluting my opponent. I salute the other fighter out of respect, even though he is trying to take something away from me. He says, I see the world as a knowledge hardware store, and every day I'm just walking through the aisles. All along the aisles, they have those knowledge keys, and each key opens a different door. Everything I do, he says, is built on speed, recognition, and reaction. World champions, he says, need truth-sayers around them. A truth-sayer is someone who doesn't bullshit you about everything. A truth-sayer is someone who has enough respect for you to tell you the truth and help you differentiate the real from the mirage. How many truth-sayers do you have in your life? I know I need more. Then he says, I have a belief that all human greatness is founded on routine, that truly great human behavior is impossible without this central part of your life being set up and governed by routine. And then he offers this universal truth. A punch in the face hurts less when you win than when you lose. The truth is, says George St. Pierre, I have become great at maybe only one thing, dedication. I have found a way to turn what some call hard work into a game and an exercise in efficiency. He says efficiency is an obsession and addiction. It not only helps me get stronger, but it makes things simpler. And of all the quotes I've shared with you so far, this may be the one that makes the biggest difference. He says, you don't get better on the days when you feel like going. You get better on the days when you don't want to go, but you go anyway. If you can overcome the negative energy coming from your tired body or unmotivated mind, you will grow and become better. It will not be the best workout you have. You won't accomplish as much as what you usually do when you actually feel good, but that doesn't matter. Growth is a long-term game, and the crappy days are more important. Then he says, there is an elementary rule in martial arts, and everyone who learns goes through it. You will never understand what a punch in the head feels like if you are the only one doing the punching. Winning fighters all know that success comes from the ability to absorb punishment. How true is that? Then he says, knowing yourself lets you differentiate between luck and movement. It places them at opposite ends of the spectrum. Luck is not within anybody's control or prediction. It occurs, and it's great when it does, but you cannot base your entire life on it. Movement, on the other hand, puts success within reach. Ability is related potential, but skill represents the concept of doing, of movement. Then he says, and I love this one, I do not like solitude. I need to be around other humans. I crave human contact and interaction and laughter and escape. If I or anyone wants to become the best at something, none of us will get there alone. Then he says, one false move, one stupid minor mistake can cause the entire empire to crumble into rubble. The post-fight feeling of uncertainty is astounding. Watching myself fight, I realize the line between success and failure is so narrow, it's scary. Every single time I win a fight, I better understand how the greater the risk, the greater the reward. So that's it. It's time to develop your own way to become champion of your world. And share your insights with me. Spring forward so you are ready for the fall. This is Mike Lipkin, and I thank GSP for helping me create this message.